Okay, number 16, discuss take action on letter of intent between Somervell County and City of Monroe regarding park and recreation facilities. Jeff, I believe you wanted to discuss this.
Yes, sir, appreciate that. I would like,
Do you need a copy of it, or do you have a copy of it?
I have plans on my desk, I've read it several thousand times. I would like to get Trey to write us up a letter of intent with approval today, if we approve it, to turn over the Heritage Park and the park behind the expo, the soccer park, over to the city for them to take over, maintain, fully operate, be in control of, with the understanding with the city, and we've talked to them, I've talked to them, talked to Troy, we've talked to Joe about this, with the understanding that it'll be open to the public, obviously. It will always remain parks. Both of those facilities will never change and not be parks. That the county has use of those parks if needed for events, festivities, whatever. These are some of the notes that I've made that I would like to have Trey put in that letter. And if we need to come back and approve the letter that he does, then that's great. I'm just asking that we enter into and start the process of turning the parks, those two parks, over to the city of Glen Rose.
Historic buildings will be maintained and upkept, and master gardens.
Master garden, yes, all that will be included in the agreement, yes, yes.
Joe, I know you got that letter there. If they move forward, we can get that letter back, and then Trey can formalize whatever, because this is actually not an agreement as far as having them surveyed and having them conveyed to you. We'd have to figure out, how to split the cost of the survey and the title company. I met with the title company and just discussed what all they say needs to be in there. They went over many things that Jeff just went over. So if we move forward with this, then we'll move forward with trying to formalize the entire contract. You good with that?
Great with that.
City council good with that?
I'm here personally, but yeah. I'm here for the next.
Let me see if I get a motion in a second, and if I do, then we'll discuss. All right, is that good? All right. So do I have a motion to move forward with this letter of intent with a contract yet to come with many stipulations?
So moved.
I have a motion by Jeff. Do I have a second? I have a second by Richard. All right, now we've got a motion and a second. I think Ann wants to speak.
Weren't the historic buildings donated to the county? Isn't that right?
I have done as much research as I can so far, and the only gentleman I know so far, McFall, Robert, would be him now because his father passed away, did the school building. The other buildings, I've been through the Green Book, the Black Book, the Bennett Tract. I can't find, I'm not denying or arguing with you, I just can't find where the people actually, did the donation and the deeds and.
So those buildings still, quote unquote, belong to the families then?
Yes, yes.
So
Hang on just a second, Scott, you're next.
my question is, they put them there with the understanding that the county had them and that you were gonna take care of them. Now have you talked to them to realize that they're gonna now be passed? Because those are historic buildings that have been declared historic buildings. And one of them has a recorded historic landmark building on it from the state of Texas, which it falls under different rulings.
If we move forward with this, then we'll reach out to everybody that I can contact. I only know right now one that's alive that I can actually talk to, but we'll do our very best. Now, it's gonna be an agreement, the way I understand it, that the buildings will be maintained and upkept just like they have been
Correct.
for the last
That's
15
correct.
years or whatever.
Yes, that's correct.
The city will be responsible to
That's
keep them in
correct.
the condition.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And what are we getting in exchange for this?
Well, it'll reduce, and Jeff, you can read this.
We'll reduce our budget as far as maintaining the parks, repairing things that are torn up, things like that. They're in the city limits, it's my opinion, it's just my opinion. They need to be maintained and taken care of by the city.
It reduces about 100 to 120,000 a year
Yes,
roughly.
on maintaining and maintenance costs, yes,
Between the mowing, the restrooms, the trash,
yes.
utilities.
But my understanding is you can't just, You gotta do something for something, isn't that right?
That's what we're exchanging is the money. There'll be money coming off ours, and hopefully there's gonna be future agreements that's gonna be tied, I hope, as we move forward, but we'll just see. I keep hearing we break the ice, but we haven't broken it yet. And I'm looking right straight at the mayor, if anybody wonders who I'm looking at.
I'm just asking that question because, I mean, you can't, I mean, that's giving away our asset.
Yes,
And they're not gonna, what are they gonna try to give us in return for our assets? They're gonna take 120 off of maintenance? So they're gonna give us, that's what the return is?
off of parks and recreation, how do we have it in our budget, I believe it's parks and recreation.
Yeah, landscaping.
Yes, landscaping, that's it, yes.
So we're gonna, after we supposedly take a vote today, it isn't really happening today.
Just a
You're
matter-
gonna do the agreements, you're gonna bring it back with a lot more details to all the questions that we're asking
Yes,
and all of that, cause
yes. This is just moving forward to see if, to explore it.
This
let
is-
our intent to do it, and then we all work it out, hopefully. Hang on just a second, Scott was before you. Hey, Scott.
I just, mainly because it's probably gotten forgotten, but the little farmhouse that's on the far east side originally was on the corner of Cedar and Vine. It was donated to the county by my wife and myself.
Cool. Good deal, Scott. Now I don't have to run, now I know who wanted to
Now
talk.
you know.
You, McFalls, and somebody else, the firehouse, I don't know who. And that goes way back.
yeah, did it go to the, cause you know, the state of Texas, under state of Texas Historic Preservation, and those buildings have recorded landmarks on them.
Yes.
The county must maintain a county preservation commission under state. So could those buildings have been donated to the preservation and put there because the state says the county has to have a preservation commission?
And then can they be conveyed to the city? That's another.
That's the
research.
next question.
There you go. Can they be conveyed to the city underneath the same rules and regulations that we live by?
That's the question.
There you go.
Or does the county still have to maintain ownership of those buildings per se because of the way they were donated?
Right. That's another answer we will get through, and Scott will remind me to get through that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris Paulson. Now, she's right on that historical commission. You have to cross every T and dot every I in it.
Yep.
And everything's outlined where it is, what can be altered, who owns it, everything else.
Right.
So that has to be investigated thoroughly before you can even go on.
Right.
So that paperwork's gonna have to be pulled and checked and approved of the state.
And y'all have like historical preservation board, you got, I don't know how many different boards you have. Sorry to put you on the spot, Mayor.
Well, we do
I
have
wish you
one.
hadn't shown up.
I could just comment on the historical side of it. It can be exchanged. We've already looked into another property that we're trying to acquire, and they have to approve it. So there is work to be done along those lines, but we intend to do it by the letter of the law.
If we move forward letter of intent, then we dot all the i's, cross the t's, make sure it's done before we actually formalize the contract, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, I do have a motion by Jeff, and I have a second by Richard. Do we have any further questions or comments, or issues, or concerns?
I would just make sure that once this is all compiled, that we bring it back.
Yes.
So we
Well,
can.
absolutely.
We have another discussion on where we're headed.
Yes, absolutely.
Outline the several page contract that says what we're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
And what the obligations are when it's.
All right, then, all in favor said motion. That's 5 for, 0 against.